Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back at it again at day 4 of 7 days of sunscreen. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Palmyra and I love chatting about makeup, skincare, and anything beauty. So welcome back, and I am going to talk about the Versed Guards Up Daily Mineral Sunscreen SPF 35 today. I have heard a lot of just buzz about this sunscreen and I've been super curious to test it out. So for background, if you're brand new to this series or brand new to me, I have normal to dry, sensitive, fair skin. I'm looking for a sunscreen that isn't necessarily physical or chemical. I don't mind silicones in my products, and I'm just looking for something to feel really good on the skin and lightweight. I'm going to be rating this product based on several criteria that includes ease of application, sophistication of formula, wear under makeup, white cast, and price point. So 5 little criteria for you. And without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about Versed, and let me tell you a bit about the sunscreen whilst I apply it to the skin. Hello, you're all zoomed into the face, but without further ado, let's talk about Versed. So this is a 15.2% zinc oxide formula, so it's a physical sunscreen. As a formula, it's pretty clean. It doesn't contain fragrance, PEGs, phthalates, sulfates, and silicones. So if you like a clean formula, this is a great option. It is a bit pricier for a drugstore sunscreen. It is $21.99 at Target. So in comparison to some of the K-Beauty sunscreens that I've reviewed, it actually is on the pricier end. Now, in terms of texture, it's super interesting. So this physical sunscreen claims to not have a white cast at all, meaning it's okay for any skin tone. I'm gonna do my 4-finger test here. It comes out tinted and kind of reminds me of a concealer. And as I blend it over the skin, it kind of has a gritty texture to it. So it feels like a mineral sunscreen. Now, in terms of the formula, this is a non-nano zinc oxide, which means that it's considered to be reef safe. We've talked about reef safe here on my channel, and I've told you about the studies that I've read saying that there's not quite enough data yet, but obviously I want to empower you guys to make your own decisions about what you're comfortable using. There has been one study that has been linked to increased coral reef damage in hotspot tourist areas in the summer. So far that's kind of what we know, but it's nice that this is a non-nano zinc oxide formula. This also contains moringa seed extract as well as sea fennel, and both of these are basically antioxidants and emollients. So it feels very thick on the skin, I will say that, but that's pretty normal because it is a zinc oxide formula. It's interesting. The first day that I tried the sunscreen, I actually hated it and I was considering returning it because it didn't wear well under makeup and it kind of clung and it felt really dry on my skin, but I had not properly moisturized, I would say, and I was having a drier day. Today, my skin is leaning more towards normal to a little bit oily in certain areas, and it feels totally moisturized. It actually felt a little heavy upon application, but as I've been sitting here applying it, it's gotten less and less. I'm going to insert some footage from that first day of what my makeup was looking like so that you know what I was talking about. So unfortunately, I find that it feels heavy on the skin and it also doesn't feel moisturizing. My makeup clung in areas that it doesn't usually cling to. I'm using the same products I always use, and there was definitely some gripping underneath the eyes and around the nose, which is really unfortunate. So I am not convinced that this is going to have high marks from me, but stay tuned as I continue to test it out. All right, so now you've seen that clip and you kind of understand where I was coming from when I wasn't super psyched about how the sunscreen applied under makeup. That being said, today, now that my skin is feeling a bit more normal to oily, I'm gonna go apply my makeup and I'll be right back so that we can examine together how the sunscreen wore on the skin. All right, you guys, I'm back. I've done my makeup. Let's do a zoom in to see how day 2 is looking. All right, so the makeup seems to be wearing really, really well. I am gonna go and run some errands and I will check in with you in a couple of hours to see how everything is wearing, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts on this versed sunscreen. Hello! So it's been about 3 hours. I did go outside and wear a mask to run one very quick errand, and I have not touched up my face except for I have reapplied my lip product. So I kind of want to see how everything is wearing, and that way we can see together if this is any better on day 2 of testing. All right, I don't know about you, but I'm seriously impressed on the wear time of this sunscreen. The only thing that I did when I came home after I took my mask was I just kind of pressed my face in the area where the mask had been sitting, but that's the only thing that I did, and I'm so impressed that things have not moved around. I also have to say, I wonder if it's the combination of the versed and the makeup I used today. I used some new makeup that I haven't talked about here yet, and I got sent this Skin Boost Perfecting Tint from this brand Arrive. First of all, such cute packaging. I was already intrigued. I really like it. So they did send me their full line, so if you'd like a review, please let me know, but I'm really impressed on how the two of these did together, and so far very, very, very surprised and impressed by how long wearing this skin tint is. So I do wonder how those two together really maybe changed the game. But I will say my skin is definitely in a different place right now than when I tried it. Day 1 of trying this sunscreen was about 10 days ago, and my skin was just a little bit drier. So let's just go through my final thoughts on the sunscreen. All right, so for ease of application, I'll have to give this product a 10 out of 10 because it's a mineral-based sunscreen, and usually that means that they are such a pain to apply. They take forever to blend into the skin, and they usually do leave a white cast that you have to work to blend out. I didn't find that that was the case. Of course, because this is a physical sunscreen, it is gonna have a thicker and grittier texture. I don't think that there's a mineral sunscreen that exists that does not have a thicker texture, so I'm not gonna give it points off for that. So I do have to give it a really good high rating because it was really easy to blend in, and I didn't find that there was any white cast, and before I knew it, it had blended seamlessly into the skin. So I really, really liked that, and I liked the finish that it left me. It was not as heavy as the Cocoa Kind sunscreen, so I know now that when my skin is in a more balanced place, it's not going to feel heavy throughout the day. It felt a little heavy upon initial application, but it immediately went away, which I think is really important. And it didn't feel drying, and it didn't catch on any parts of my skin today, which lends me to believe that if you're not dry and you moisturize well, that you're not going to have any problems. And then for wear under makeup, I'm gonna have to give this product a 7 out of 10 just because I don't think it caters to every skin type. Products rarely cater to every skin type, so that's just how things are. But I think if you're dry, it is going to catch on dry patches, and I do think it is going to wear under makeup more as a, not necessarily as a mattifier, but if you're dry, you will have difficulty making sure that it wears really well under makeup. So you would have to really, really moisturize, and even then it may not work for you. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 7 just because it's not the kind of sunscreen that anybody could wear. I think if you're normal, if you're combo, if you're oily, it'll just be fine. It doesn't pill or anything like that. But again, if you're on the drier side, I would probably either moisturize really well or just know that you may end up having to return it. For white cast, I gotta give this a 10 out of 10 from my perspective. I have looked up other reviews for people who have deeper skin tones, and this has gotten a really, really high rating. Of course, you will have to do a test on your own skin and maybe look at other creators that can speak about it from their experience. But from my experience, this product had absolutely no white cast, so I think it's a really, really promising mineral sunscreen for deeper skin tones. So for sophistication of formula, I also have to hand it to this product. I like that it's fragrance-free, it doesn't have essential oils, it has that moringa seed extract and a couple of antioxidants and emollients that were really promising. And if you're looking for a clean formula, this is really it. It doesn't have those PEGs, dyes, silicones, you're gonna feel really good about using this. So if you're on the sensitive side or you're acne prone and sunscreen makes you nervous, this would actually be a great one to reach for, because really if you had a reaction, it would be more likely that you're just sensitive to zinc oxide and not to any kind of little ingredient in here. So I have to give the formula a 10 out of 10. I think it's a really sophisticated sunscreen formula, especially for the price point. And lastly, for price, okay, so this is $21.99. I didn't love that. It is 1.7 fluid ounces, which seems to be a really standard amount for sunscreens, but I didn't love that it was $21.99. It's hard for me to love the price when I'm comparing it to other K-beauty sunscreens that range in the, $10 to $14 range. I wish it was slightly less expensive, but I do think it has a really sophisticated formula. It's also really nice because it says that it comes from 77% recycled plastic. So the exterior is recycled plastic and the actual tube is recyclable. So, I know that they're making efforts to have a really clean formula, make sure everything's recyclable, make sure it doesn't have a white cast. And so for that, I do have to say, I understand why it's priced the way that it is. I would say I will give it a 9 out of 10 or 8.5 out of 10 in terms of price. Do I wish it was more affordable? Yes. Do I understand why the price is higher? Also yes. All right, so those are my final thoughts on the Versed sunscreen. I have to say, it did surprise me. I wanted to return it as soon as I tried it. I thought, okay, this is terrible. It's not gonna work for me. But I'm really happy to report that if you can get your skin to a more balanced place, it absolutely can work for you. And then again, I did not use any kind of specific hydrating primer to kind of offset the effects of this sunscreen because I didn't know what I was getting into. So now that I know, I probably will reserve this for occasions where my skin is more balanced, or if I want to make it work, then I will really load up on a heavier moisturizer or priming situation, and probably it will be okay. So I hope that this helped you. If you have any questions about it, please drop it down below. Don't forget to like this video if you like this series, and subscribe. I would love to have you. Make sure that you enter my giveaway if it's still open. Go ahead and check the August favorites giveaway video, and I will see you guys in my next sunscreen review very soon. Bye!